Okay, this is my manual awning tutorial. This is RV number 7. It's a 2011 Tioga Ranger 25G. It's actually my only unit I have left with a manual awning. I just went through and fixed this one more time. The reason all my other ones do not have manual awnings anymore is because people break them quite frequently. And parts are expensive, labor is expensive, and a lot of them are old enough now that the parts are obsolete, which makes them really hard to find. So please follow this video when using the manual awning. This tutorial is basically true for any manual awning. They're all pretty much the same. So we'll go ahead and we'll show you how to work this thing. The first thing you need, unless you're incredibly tall, is the manual awning wand. So I store that in this compartment here. It's just this little white metal handled guy here. And all this thing is a long stick with a hook at the end. The first thing you do is you find this switch right here. Okay, sorry, in frame there. This switch right here. And you pull down on it. And you make sure that that says roll down. That is the roll down position. That's what you want. The next thing you have to do is release the lock on the arms. And those are going to be these little black tabs here. You simply push in on both sides and make sure that this pipe separates and this little piece comes out. You'll find one on both arms. Find it right here. So you do the same thing, you squeeze both ends and it pops out. I guess while I'm over here, I'll show you the common damage areas. These foots and these mounts. And then up top here, where those cloths connect to the motorhome as well. That's another place that causes damage. I'll go over what causes this damage as well to help you avoid doing. The next thing you do is you find your little strap right here, you hook your hook into it, and you simply walk away from the motorhome. And this will extend your awning. You want to make sure that it does not slip off. If it does, it's not a big deal. You see, you can release tension, it's not going anywhere, and you can pull that down. Release your strap. You'll notice that the awning is quite low at the moment. That's normal. You can set your hook aside. One thing I do like to point out to people is you don't want to set anything on a motorhome like this. By doing so, you tend to forget about them and people will walk inside the motorhome, which will cause the motorhome to wiggle. And the next thing you know, you're going to have a bunch of scratch marks all over the side of your new motorhome. Sorry, bad experience with a new motorhome ahead. The next thing you'd want to do with your awning, since you know, I'm 6'4", but you can see it's obviously pretty short, even for somebody my size. So what you do now is you come over to the arms here, and you have these handles. You also have these notches right inside here that the handle locks into. All you do is grab your handle like so. If this does not want to slide, don't pull hard on it. This is how things break, okay? As you slide up and you get it into position, you let your handle go and it locks into place. The highest this thing goes is 4 notches. Well, sorry, the 4 spaced out notches, I should say. You got these tight ones, and then you got these large ones. The large 4, that's as far out as this will go. It is restricted by the length of this pipe. But you'll notice that right now, I'm 6'4" and I have to reach up. This is about 7 feet tall. So that is the proper height. If it's a little windy out, you can kind of tighten these down a little bit. But this is another way these break. I don't recommend tightening these down because if you try to collapse it when it's tight, you bend the pipe. When you bend the pipe, this no longer slides out, which causes people to force them in and out, which breaks the foot and the mounts. So, Currently, this is rather slanted, so we have to go to the other side here and do the same thing here. Okay, we grab the handle, we release it, and we go ahead and we give it a pull up, and we set it down in the lock position. So now your awning is set at 7 feet tall. I'm 6'4". I can walk underneath here and still have a few inches before I hit the valance on here. This little guy can be kind of annoying, so you just take that and you throw it up on top, so that way you don't have to deal with that while you're walking back and forth. Okay, so this is the easy part. Okay, sorry for moving around so fast. I'm not very good at making videos, so that's not my thing, but I figured I'd do it anyway. So the hard part here is really retracting the awning, because that is spring loaded, and if you slip at this point, it's going to slam into the motorhome, could potentially cause damage to the motorhome and to the awning itself, and anybody that might have their fingers where they shouldn't be. So to do this, we do the opposite of what we did before. We pull our release handle. There's going to be a little pressure on it, which is fine. You slide it right back down into position, making sure, see, I did it too. I left that tight, it was tight, it started to get tight. So, best not to tighten these. If you leave them loose, they slide nicely. Just like that. So, there is a stop on here that will stop this in the correct position. So, you know when it's resting on here, that is where it should be. You come over here, and it's the same thing. Make sure it's loose. Pull up your handle, hold on to it because it will slide down automatically. Slide it down into the lock, and then you put the handle back. The next thing you want to do, and I don't use this handle for it because I'm tall, okay? And if you're short, you might have to have two people helping you. I don't know if I can videotape this at the same time here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I have a firm grip on this cable here. This is the one that hooks to your tube. I'm going to put my fingers in the hole in case I lose my grip, that I can catch it. You come over here to this switch here. You can use your hand to do it now. This guy here, we want to set this switch into the roll up position. So we just simply give that a push while holding it, because now you'll notice it's automatically trying to reel up, and if you just hit that switch, this thing will shoot up and it will cause damage. So we simply now walk towards the motorhome, and it rolls itself back up. We release some more of this out of our hand. If it gets stuck, give it a little pull, or a little push, I should say. All right, Murphy's Law, something weird happened. I'm not sure what it is, but we're not gonna force anything, because forcing things is what causes damage. So we're gonna come over here and check this thing here. And what I found is that the arm was stuck in some dirt. So I've loosened this arm back up, and it is now moving again. And so is the awning. Again, we do not want to force anything on a motorhome, because when we force things, we break things. Okay, and then we continue going up. And when you're out of reach, whatever height that might be for you, unless you're 2 feet tall, 3 feet tall, I apologize if any of you really are, you simply release it and it locks in place. That much movement is not going to hurt anything. If you release it at the very beginning and it has all that time to build up momentum, that is when it causes problems. The final thing you want to do is reach around here, grab this with your hand, squeeze it on bottom and on top, and that locks these little arms back in place and everything is secure. Same thing over here. Give this a grab, and a squeeze, and it is locked in place, and it is ready for travel and reuse. Please make sure that you find your ear wand and return that to the storage compartment, so that way it can be used again when you want to use it again. Again, if you have any questions about how to use these awnings, it's definitely a lot easier to call me and ask me. I don't mind that. It's a lot easier than having to replace parts and find parts, and definitely a lot cheaper. So feel free to call me if you have any questions. If you run into anything like I did, where the arms are not moving smoothly and you are concerned about causing damage, please call me. I will be more than happy to walk you through it, and that protects both you and the motorhome. All right, have a good one.